Yeehaw! Right, mic check. I believe I sound okay given the yeehaw. I love that. Excellent. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Happy Saturday or early Sunday, I think, from wherever you are in the world. Happy to have you. I see Kenton. Very good, guys. Please share the space, whether you're listening live or the recording. We're going to have a good one today. We're going to have the Unstoppable guys. Lots of people have shown interest in them. So we're going to talk to them and figure everything out regarding Unstoppable. We did have a space with them a while ago. I want to say it was like, 2 months ago or something. Maybe I'm off on that, but really cool team. So I'm really excited just to have a frank conversation with them. But with that being said, guys, let's get this intro going. Hello, everybody. Welcome, one and all. THORChain is the first DEX to swap real Bitcoin. You can use every Bitcoin wallet in the world, and you don't have to connect it to a website. This is the same with Ethereum, XRP, BNB, Tron, Doge, and many more. Eventually, guys, you'll be able to swap any token from any wallet. THORChain is turning into a full layer one where apps can be built on top of it. The new app layer unlocks lending perps, Bitcoin-backed stablecoins, token launchpad, NFTs, prediction markets, and much more. THORChain isn't just a decentralized exchange. It's becoming the protocol of pure, uncensorable liquidity. Swapping on THORChain's really easy. It's permissionless. There's no KYC, and anyone in the world can use it. To use THORChain, go to thorchain.org, click on swap. New features and functionality are also being added to the site over the next few months. If you encounter any bugs whatsoever or need any help, there's an email that you can use on the website as well. THORChain's token is called Rune, and that's spelled R-U-N-E. You don't need to buy or hold Rune to place a swap on THORChain, but the fees are deducted from your swap are used to buy Rune. And this is the Rune that goes to liquidity pools and nodes. There are no block rewards on THORChain. 100% of the yield is real, and THORChain is deflationary with 5% of all revenue being burned. If you hold Rune on a centralized exchange, you should withdraw it into self-custody immediately because these tokens can be used to short sell Rune and drive the price down on ourselves. And once in self-custody, you guys, look into bonding your Rune to a node to earn some yield. There's a really good interface to use that. It's runebond.com. It's a very easy process. All you have to do is select the node, request a whitelist, and then once approved, you can bond your Rune. Additionally, we are looking for new node operators. And if you know of anyone, or if you have technical skill, if you want to give it a shot, we have lots of tutorials, lots of guides to help get you up to speed. RuneTard is someone who is for free training node operators, essentially his own competition. And all that may not make sense at first glance, but the more unique node operators we have, the more decentralized THORChain is. So please, if you know somebody or if you are interested in trying it, we will help you out, and I will personally try to get you some BPs to get you churned in once you are ready. THORChain has another token called TCY. This token is like a preferred stock where 10% of the protocol's revenue goes to these token holders. If you deposited crypto into Savers or took out a loan on THORChain, please claim your TCY token so you can start collecting this yield. And anyone can buy the TC token on thorchain.org as well. There's a THORChain community Discord and Telegram. You can join and learn all about THORChain, make all kinds of friends. To find the links, go to @THORcommunity. That's @THOR community account on X. Guys, this space is always geared towards anyone in your THORChain journey, whether you are a veteran or brand spanking new, there will be something for you. And it is an open space. We take any and all questions from the community. With that being said, guys, my name's Denny. My other account is Patriot Sounds. I've been an educator, content creator on THORChain for about 5 years now. I love THORChain, you guys, and I'm hoping you love THORChain too. With that being said, I'm going ahead and kick it to Kenton. Good morning, Kenton. How you doing?
Morning, Patriot. Good. Yeah, I'm trying to get Unstoppable up as a speaker, and I can't. I don't know, TC intern, if you can help, Unstoppable if you requested, but I can't do it. Can you see Patriot? Can you get them up?
I'll give it a shot. Yeah, that'd be embarrassing because technically they would be stoppable, right? So we can't have that.
I don't know, Unstoppable if let's see some technical difficulties. Let you guys play with it a bit. Yeah, maybe just give you guys a little update. I'm trying to get CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap stuff updated. It's just slow. I asked them to do something, they say they've done it and they haven't. So I've, like a few times, like just to change one thing, it's taking a lot of back and forth. But slowly getting that stuff done. And maybe another little update about the DEX aggregator on the front end. Treasury has decided no other routes, just THORChain and Maya. So that's what we're gonna do here. Um, yeah, uh, yeah, that was their decision, not mine. And yeah, let me try and get Unstoppable here going. We can. Any luck, guys?
I'm in. Can you hear me?
Oh, there you go. Hi, Ebek. Yep, good.
Hey.
So yeah, makes a quick intro for you. So Unstoppable, the devs behind Unstoppable are the devs who are doing the THORChain front end and the aggregator behind it. And so I've been working with these guys now for I guess since August. And um, maybe it's good. I think if we just do a little kind of bit more history background on Unstoppable and what how they found THORChain, how they got involved before we get more into to what they're doing for THORChain. But yeah, Unstoppable, if you could just maybe give us a quick intro about yourself, what you guys are doing, how you came across THORChain, how you got involved with THORChain in the beginning, and how we met. And I think that'd be a good intro for everybody.
All right. So yeah, about Unstoppable. We are a wallet. Well, most of the people, I guess, who know us as a wallet. But at the same time, we actually did a lot of stuff over the years. But wallet is something that we have been working on continuously. Um, we are building a platform for parking wealth privately, securely, conveniently, for a platform to access markets like crypto markets and so on. So wallet is work in progress for us, and we have been building it since 2017, maybe early 2018. I really don't remember right now, but around that time. And it's been a fully open source wallet. We have built a lot of stuff along the way. We like a lot of libraries that are currently being used by a lot of projects, so in various domains. So yeah, I mean, when we started working with the wallet, I mean, the very first thing that actually kind of we were amazed about when we discovered crypto was the concept of self custody. I mean, it seems kind of generic now, and everyone used to it. You kind of have an ability to self custody your funds, and no one is really excited about it. But when you actually, like when we saw it for the first time, when the wallets were not that like were non self custody wallets were not as popular as mainstream, I would say, it was really an amazing thing for us. And since that moment, and that was maybe early 2017, we always wanted to actually build. When we understood that what this technology, blockchain, enables, we always wanted to build a DEX, a decentralized exchange. And we actually did back in 2018. We built an EVM DEX prior Uniswap. It worked. We built along with some other company where we had a stake, and that DEX worked for a bit, but it never really grew. After that, we tried building. It was EVM DEX. After that, we tried building atomic swap based DEX, but kind of after we got a prototype, we decided not to pursue it because we realized that it would not work on mobile, and mobile was always our thing. You know, we always tried to build things on mobile, or at least mobile first, because well, that's the gadget people always carry with themselves, right? So back then, when we tried building atomic swap DEX, we realized that okay, it won't work on mobile, so we kind of dropped it. So DEXs was like for the last maybe well since the very beginning, we always were waiting for someone for some really good decks, especially a cross-chain one. And THORChain was the first one that actually delivered, where we actually saw that it not only works, but it actually works quite well. It has well, it's decentralized. It's with its own like governance mechanisms and so on. So it went through some. It showed some resilience over the years. It went through it so like through a number of, I would say, hard times. So yeah, we are like fans, I would say, right? So that's how we kind of. I mean, we knew THORChain from the very beginning. So when an opportunity came up to kind of to collaborate or do something for THORChain, we felt like it might be something we want to do, and that's how the relationship started. But in general, what we are trying to do, we are open source devs and we are building freedom tech with a focus on privacy. We try not to take compromises. So, I mean, there are some things we don't build that because we simply feel that they are more about speculation rather than freedom tech. And I don't know, like perps, perp taxes. So these are the things. But in general, we did a lot of stuff over the years, and mainly full time working on Unstoppable Wallet these days.
That's great. So I'm curious if Unstoppable, you just integrated THORChain into your wallet this year, right? But THORChain's been around for 4 years. What took you guys so long? Why didn't you do it sooner? Why did you do it this year?
Well, we started integrating DEXs like maybe first 2 years ago. I mean, before that, there were basically like other priorities, like getting the chains, all the chains we want to have included in the app. And in our case, in many cases, we are trying to, I mean, in many cases, we have to create a library ourselves. And there are many reasons for that. In some cases, I mean, because we are a native wallet, basically a native mobile wallet. So it's the crypto libraries are not as as popular in mobile tech stack as, let's say, in JavaScript tech stack, web tech stack. So in many cases, we have to create a library ourselves. Not always, but that's common. So yeah, it took us a while to get to a point where we were comfortable with the number of blockchains our wallet supports. So that was the first thing. The second thing, we actually had to, well, we also spent a considerable amount of time building security features that we have, and well, some of the features that we have, we are kind of pioneered, like the Duress mod feature or anti-phishing protection. So there are lots of those things within the Unstoppable. We also, I think, were among the first ones who actually introduced universal, like multi-coin, multi-wallet app. So you in our app you can have as many wallets as you want, with unlimited number of coins in each of them. Well, not unlimited, but any wallet can have any coins the app supports. It's not like you create a separate wallet for a specific coin. But so all of those things took us a while, and about 2 years ago we actually started like integrating DEXs. And I think we might have started on THORChain about a year ago. So it took us maybe a few months to get it in place. But I think it's live maybe for 6-7 months right now. Yeah. Yeah, I can't really say for sure, what was it. It was just not we prioritized it when we felt that it was the right time, basically. And the decision depended, I guess, on several factors, like the libraries, the state of the application itself, and so on.
And when did you guys first learn about THORChain? Have you known about it for the last like for a longer period of time?
Yeah, I think well, maybe not 4 years, but two and a half. I mean, a while ago. So I actually heard about it before there were like any interfaces around. I mean, things like THORSwap or Leodex. I'm not sure what others there were. Like those interfaces, we learned about them fairly recently. I would say, like, I don't know, maybe 7, no, less than a year, I would suppose.
Okay, but the protocol you've known about for
Yeah,
longer.
the protocol. But you see, when you are a wallet, I mean, THORChain was not the first cross-chain protocol we heard about. If you remember, like DeFi summer, like 2022 around maybe. So there were a number, like Polkadot was promising something, uh, ICP was promising something. So a number of them, and we know I mean, we hear about all of them, right? So what we typically started like doing, we were not able to integrate all of them, and sometimes people would submit not pull requests but issues on the GitHub and ask like, okay, integrate this and that, right? And we had to choose. So when it comes to THORChain, to cross-chain blockchain, we actually wanted to wait to see which one would go beyond the promises and actually deliver something. And so that's how we saw that THORChain. That's how it stood out to us, because there were a number of blockchains promising like cross-chain swaps, but ultimately, the one that currently rules, I would say, truly decentralized one.
Okay, cool, makes sense. And yeah, I'm not. I hope you don't. I'm not criticizing you guys. I'm genuinely curious on your
I see.
path to THORChain, because it's I'm from like the marketing point of view is like how do people find out about THORChain? How do like wallets like you learn about it and decide to move forward? And what can we do as a community to find 10 more unstoppable wallets, right, and get more integrations? And what are you guys looking for type thing? So that's kind of was the reason I was asking, just your journey there. But that all makes perfect sense, and yeah. So you mentioned your wallet is it's open source. You created a lot of these libraries you created yourself. Are those libraries open source too?
Yeah, everything about the wallet is open source. I mean, we actually we wanted to try something drastically different with Unstoppable. Not everything we do is actually done this way. For example, even when we worked on the THORChain interface, we didn't do it this way because, well, it's more up to you guys to THORChain governance, how you want to publish libraries, how you want to keep them as open source and so on. But when it comes to the wallet, it's like since 2007, I mean, since the very first code that was pushed to the wallet, it was fully public and available. And moreover, we actually keep the entire workflow process of the wallet production public. So if someone curious, they can actually go and see how the wallet evolved over the years, what kind of discussions were there. So all the issues, tickets, feature requests were actually are also public. And to give you, I mean, why is that was interesting and important? Most of the bigger and mainstream blockchain projects are done this way. Like, for example, Bitcoin, that's how it's developed as well. It's fully, everything starts with proposal and so on and so on. So you can actually see everything that's going on. It's there on the GitHub. So, I mean, practically speaking, I don't think that there is anything that's happening behind the doors there, right? So that's the type of approach we took at the wallet. and mainly because wallet is a device that's supposed to keep funds and safely, right? So it was important for us to make sure that first of all we are keeping the process open so that anyone can review it and like improve it or help us find the bugs whenever they are. And that's one. And secondly, it some of the core libraries that we used were also like done this way, and we wanted to kind of keep the keep the same approach basically. So, but at the same time, that's the wallet part. But at the same time, we do work on different things. Like we built a number of taxes. Um, in some cases, it was built for someone that we know. In other cases, we sometimes want to make sure we have a good understanding of a particular tech stack. Like, for example, building a DEX on Ethereum and building a DEX on Solana is a completely different processes. Although a DEX may work in a similar way, but the actual building process will be completely different, starting from the programming language and things you can do on that blockchain and you cannot do on that blockchain. So, and in those things are mostly not published. So because either they are published on some different repositories which do not belong to us, or which we do not control solely. But when it comes to wallet, it's a fully open source project, basically.
Has anyone, if anyone's forked it and like
Oh
ran with
yeah,
it
yeah,
something different?
yeah. I think it's the repository. It's evolved over the years. So I mean, we had a few thousand forks on the previous versions, and the previous version, I think we archived like few years ago. So and maybe there are over 1,000 forks on this, like on the current version now. Usually, it's we see people forking when there is a blockchain that really wants to have its own wallet or a project, and they either ask us to add the coin to the wallet or approach us to launch a wallet for them. But we typically advise just fork our wallet, redo the design, and and use it. We actually even had a centralized exchange once, which forked our wallet, adapted some of their branding, and ended up with their own non-custodial wallet.
So you're happy to have people fork the code, do what they want with it, maybe contribute to the code.
I mean, it's really depends on what you are after. If you are, if you are let's say a type of project where most of the open source projects, or at least most of the projects which use a lot of the open source code, in many cases they are required to stay open source. Yeah, in many cases, not necessarily, but usually it's common. Yeah, and also there is a case of business model. For some, if a project, let's say, is like one of the, if they are eyeing one of the exits from the project they see as someone buying them, then being open source is not a good thing. I mean, why would someone buy you if they can just fork you, right? So in our case, we were pretty sure that no one would want to buy us because simply because how to say it, our vision typically is aligned with things like censorship resistance, access to borderless markets, and typically aligned with things which are not in alignment with, let's say, a Web2 traditional fintech. And a Web2 traditional fintech is typically the type of company that would that can potentially can approach you to buy your crypto products so that they can enter that market. We actually had some really large fintechs like brands that everyone probably knows about approach us and discuss some things basically. But things we can provide typically is not some things they want.
That makes sense. Let's touch on your open border permissionless. You guys are big fans, or well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you guys are fans of Monero and Zcash and privacy coins. Is it Unstoppable like kind of one of the main wallets to use for Monero?
One of the main, not the only one. Monero has a number of I would say I think there are 2-3 main players which support both Monero and Zcash, and we are one of them. Typically, we try to be if there is a privacy thing that can, if there is a feature or a blockchain that we can add that would kind of extend the privacy capabilities of the Unstoppable wallet, we try to be among the first ones to integrate it. With Monero specifically, we were not the first. We actually came in last among the wallets that support it. But I would say it's an exception because we a bit overestimated at the beginning the amount of work it would take us. We kind of thought that it would be like a thing that would take us 6 months. And that was based on the experience we had with Bitcoin initially, and later Zcash. Zcash was faster, although we were not the ones who actually built it from scratch. So we actually took a library that was already there and build the integration around it. So there were like some challenges both in Bitcoin and that, and when we kind of approached Monero, we thought, okay, we need 6 months, at least 2-3 full stack engineers working on it full time. So that's why it kept postponed until and we kept postponing it until we realized that there are some core users we have in our user base. I mean, people we kind of know personally because we kind of kept in touch over the years, and we came to a point where they were actually like demanding us to add it. So that's how we added Monero. But in general, right now I would say Unstoppable is probably the most technically sophisticated, and that may not be like visible on the surface because UI simplifies a lot of things. But when it comes to the capabilities of that blockchain, so Unstoppable was one of the most sophisticated wallets for Android or for Bitcoin, Monero, and Zcash. So pretty much everything that those specific blockchains offer, and things that are possible to do on those blockchains right now available on the Unstoppable wallet. And to give you an example, like, because many people do not see what blockchain can do other than sending and receiving, like especially when it comes to Bitcoin. For example, on the Bitcoin blockchain, there is a possibility to send someone Bitcoin, but at the same time indicate when that Bitcoin can be spent. Like you can send someone Bitcoin and include part of that transaction that this person is not able to spend them for the next 2-3 months, and that period can be actually larger than that. So that's possible to do in Unstoppable, or you can actually select which UTXO would be used when you're sending your Bitcoin. So your Bitcoin balance comprised of a lot of small bits of amounts that, not necessarily small, but a lot of amounts that you received over the years. So throughout your transaction history, basically. So, and you can actually specify, okay, for that specific transaction, I want to use that amount that I received like a few years ago, and so on. And there is a way, for example, to resend a transaction with a higher fee, or to cancel transaction as soon as it remains pending. So things like that, basically.
Cool. I think when you send individual UTXOs, isn't that helps preserve some privacy, right? Is that the reasoning for doing it?
Yeah. And an example can be, let's say you are like buying a car from someone you know, or at least someone whom you have to meet physically, and you both agreed that you would pay in Bitcoin. And let's assume that, let's say you have like 5 Bitcoins on your balance, and you're about to send that person like a 0.3 worth of Bitcoin as a payment. So what you don't want to do is, let's say, expose that you have, and your balance might be comprised of 2 UTXOs, which is like 4 Bitcoins and 1 Bitcoin. Yeah, what you don't want to do is use that 4 Bitcoins UTXOs. You'd rather use that one, and in that specific case, the recipient would only know that you have 1 Bitcoin. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to oversimplify the whole thing, but essentially, yeah, ability to control UTXOs give you some ways to not to include specific parts of your balance in the transactions where you don't want them to be included.
Yep, got it. So another feature of Unstoppable. So like, we're talking about permissionless and privacy, which I think we all agree is good. But you guys also have another feature where you can do wallet blacklisting. Can you maybe walk us through that? Explain that. Why, if you guys believe in privacy and borderless and permissionless, why would you have a wallet blacklisting feature on the wallet? Can you walk us through that?
So, I mean, I'll give you some context. Where did this came up and how it's actually used on the wallet? It's not enforced, but it's something to help users. So at one point in the past, we had a problem with one of the smart contracts that we built. It basically had a bug. It was not our bug, it was a bug of Tether, because Tether is one of the oldest smart contracts, and it actually came out before the ERC20 standard was standardized. So, and it has one minor issue with its send function. So the smart contract we built worked fine for all those stables other than USDT. In some specific cases, USDT coins could get stuck there. So we used that smart contract, and some of the people for whom we built it used it as well. And at one point, there was like a sum that got stuck on that smart contract. And Tether has this like procedure in place where they can help you recover the funds stuck on the smart contract if you can, it's not a rule, but typically it should be, if it's due to a bug, then they can help you really fast, basically. Well, not like instantly, but within the scope of couple of months for a 10% fee. So if you have like 100,000 stuck on a smart contract, they'll help you recover it. You'll go through the whole like recovery protocol with them, where you have to prove that you are an owner of the smart contract, you are the one who built it, you are the owner of that wallet that sent, and explain the problem and so on. And then they like burn those funds and kind of mint that amount for you to your address. So we went through that process at some point. And what we later noticed that all the wallets that were interacting with the smart contract, if they deposited funds to Binance or withdrew funds from Binance to that wallet, Binance would start you like freezing your account and ask you to do like send you some questions, ask you to do KYC, like additional KYC stuff, although your account was already KYC. So, and that was like, okay, so we started researching that, okay, why that keeps happening. And that's when we realized that, okay, after the Tether takes you through that recovery process, they add that smart contract's address to a blacklist, a blacklist in their smart contract. And not just that address, in some cases they can, I guess, add some hackers addresses there or so on. So whatever is the purpose of that specific feature of the Tether smart contract. I guess it's more done for compliance reasons, but in some cases like ours, they added it there so that it becomes a a signal, because everyone can read that information from a smart contract, and they know that, okay, you should not be interacting with that smart contract, basically. So, and that so everyone who were involved in the building process, and there were like a number of people, realized, okay, now what do it's a problem, right? You kind of your Binance would unfreeze your account, but at the same time, you don't want to deal with that. Like it's a distraction that takes you a few days, and so on. And then we understood that, okay, apparently those USDT or other USDC and other stable coins, they have this compliance mechanisms embedded into the smart contract itself. So it's important for me as a wallet user to kind of know that whenever I'm trying to send someone funds from my wallet, if that address is in that is sort of marked, blacklisted, basically. And if so, I can then make up my mind whether I still want to proceed or not. You know, and why they're important is that someone can unknowingly send someone, and that may be a valid transaction. Because you don't necessarily know everything about someone you're transacting with, especially the address you are interacting with. Someone gives you, okay, send me to that address like that amount, if you have to send that person the sum. So you would go and send it without thinking too much about it, right? So, but after doing that, you may end up having problems on your centralized exchange, and so on. All of them would be, or most of them would be freezing your account and may even ask you, why did you interact with that address? So after that, we kind of realized that it's important security feature for our users, because we don't want our users to be kind of to unknowingly have to go and figure out why their account was freezed on Binance, Coinbase, on some other or some other exchange. So we thought, okay, that can be a good feature, and that's why we added it. And right now, whenever you send someone some funds, a wallet can potentially check if that address is on any specific blacklist, or like Tether's USDC's blacklist, if it's kind of marked by chain analysis, or if it's on DOJ's sanctioned list, and so on, right? And if so, you would know about it in advance. We would not stop you from sending it, but we would tell you, look, these are the problems with that address. Do you still want to interact with it? So that you know. At the same time, there is a tool that can actually if let's say you are expecting a payment from someone and you want to check that sender's address in advance, you can request them, ask them for the address they'll be sending you, from which they'll be sending you the payment, and then take that address and manually check it in phone settings if it has any issues. So that's basically why we build it. It's for protection, to make sure that users are protected.
That's great, man. I think it's a great idea. And you're the first wallet I've heard do this. I've tried all kinds of different wallets. I've never seen this feature anywhere else.
Yeah. I think we were one of the very first ones to have it.
That's cool. So part of me wonders if I've been subject to that, because having to submit KYC on various sexes. I'm like, God, why do I have to keep doing this? I wonder if it's the same. I wonder if I'm a victim of that. Well, that's cool, man. And that's actually, we've talked. We'll get to the THORChain front end soon here, guys. But I want to give Unstoppable a chance to talk about their wallet. But this has come up about having a blacklist on the THORChain front end. Is we're doing it to protect the network, protect the protocol. So we can show that on the front end we're trying to do something, and that's to try to isolate liability from the protocol and everyone else running the front end. So, but before we get into the THORChain front end, Patriot, do you have any questions for Unstoppable? Ask them more about their wallet and their history, their past.
Well, the thing I remember, Kenton, we did a space with them earlier. This is a little while ago, and what I remember most from that space is that the answers they gave to questions were not only good, but the the good answers were unprompted, right? So when you would ask a question about, your ethos, what you want to do, they really nailed it on the head, right? And I think that's kind of why the reason that and I don't want to speak for you, but why they were so impressive, right? And real quick, I want to shout out to the audience. If anyone has any specific questions for Unstoppable, please send them to the THORChain Telegram, and I will ask them for you. But for in terms of your wallet itself, I remember you talking about your ethos, permissionless, open market, freedom, basically your freedom maximalist, right? I actually have kind of a side question, because I really do like your wallet. I really like your team. And again, real quick before I do that, I don't know I don't want to ask if you're the Daddy Bio account, but I just want to give a shout out every time someone has said there's a problem with the STO or had a question or there was a concern. The team's been very responsive from the front end. So I just wanted to say that as someone who gets these things all the time. So thank you to you and your team for doing that. The question I have for you is, yes, freedom, maximalists, we want to achieve a world that we emancipate ourselves from tyranny. I'm kind of curious on your opinion. How do you think we're doing on that, right? Like, do you think at this point, given the state of where crypto is, are we going to win? Are we likely going to succeed? Or do you think we need to be more aggressive? There is a lot more to be done. Like, how do you model out the future in terms of the success or non-success of our ultimate ambition?
Well, we are very optimistic, and the reason is that, back in 2017ish, I think. I mean, the issues we had back then were really really basic, Like, for example, it's still this specific issues a lot of people they face, but at least if you are in that crypto thing, you are not really experiencing that. But back then, things the problems we had, okay, how to buy a crypto, because you would know that there is just a couple of exchanges and they would work in specific places, and if you are not one of those places, you simply cannot buy them. Or so basically the problems we had over the years, we saw them being fixed one by one. And I would say, in my opinion, the biggest, at least the most impressive achievement we have seen over the last 5 years, I would say maybe, is the THORChain itself. Yeah, it's the fact that you can have one crypto coin in your non-custodial wallet and go buy another one, swap for it, and by doing that, you would not involve any centralized intermediary. So it would happen in a trustless manner. So to answer your question, so over the course of, let's say, last 7 years, we've seen improvements, and we came to a point where the biggest ETF in the world is the crypto one, so Bitcoin. And I think they saw the news today or yesterday that the amount that volume of stable coins transactions in I don't know, in this year is 3 times higher than that of Visa and so on. So I think we are doing really well. And I think we are no longer in a phase where there is a question mark whether the crypto would be accepted or not. So it's kind of it's accepted. So right now we're at this stage whether it will be accepted with the privacy things that we want in them or with some kind of compromises. So we are also yet to see how regulators, or at least establishment, let me say, the financial establishment would accept DEXs, right? So in general, I'm very optimistic. Things are much better than they used to be. Yeah, it doesn't mean that there will be no more challenges, but things are definitely better now than they were in 2017. I mean, at the same time, of course, like there were a lot of people back then in crypto like ecosystem, which were very like idealistic, like I mean, price was important always, but it may not have been the main factor which kept people motivated. Despite the price, like let's say going down and staying down like for a long time, you would still see a lot of people passionately working on in that space. So this kind of thing, I don't want to say disappeared. Maybe it got saturated because there are a lot more people, a lot more noise now. But in general, I still think that uh, like crypto evolved in a good way. There are a lot of things I may not like or someone else may not like, but at the same time, there are a lot of things that I do like about it.
I think that's great. Yeah, I'm getting cautiously optimistic as well. I'm very leery though. I don't want to get in a false sense of security. I believe that the current way that the world is kind of happenstance, as in we currently have a small reprieve. But I believe firmly that some of the worst actors in the world do not yet fully understand the power of what we're building here. The decentralized access to liquidity, the financial primitives, and the removal of these third parties, these needless third parties. And when they get to that point, when they figure that out, I think the knives will be out. But again, don't want to be a downer. We just got to keep building, keep that in the back of our minds, and keep shipping. Go ahead, Kenton. Do you have something you want to say?
Actually, well, I'm going to counter you, Paige. I think they do know, and I think the crypto movements has accelerated their agenda, and they're trying to clamp down before it gets too out of control. So, like, have you guys heard of CARF, the crypto asset reporting framework or something?
No.
Like it's it's the next piece of Orwellian legislation's like going to be adopted here by like over 100 different countries. It's coming. And basically remember before FTX collapsed, Sam Bankman-Fried was running around Congress trying to get like some legislation passed that would like effectively uh cut off DeFi at the knees um and basically benefit centralized platforms like FTX. And then you know maybe CZ saw what was going on and then purposely tried to destroy uh SBF. I don't know how it'll check out, but that was anyway, that legislation. Remember that Eric Voorhees had that interview with SBF about it, and like the legislation was pretty bad, but it never went through, never got approved. But I think CARF is kind of like the next iteration, and it's worldwide. And the gist is they want to go after reporting for taxes, right? That's how they're justifying it with each other and to everyone else. And all these countries are looking at adopting it, even Cayman Islands. And so, and it's got like, because Cayman's become one of the bigger hubs for like crypto foundations, like crypto company, like crypto projects will set up a foundation in Cayman. And so everyone in Cayman is a bit wondering what the hell is going to go on with this. How is it going to be enforced? What's going to be the result? But the gist is like reporting on crypto transactions. And if you're like a project or a front end or whatever, you might have to start complying with some of this stuff. So yeah, I'm not trying to be alarmist or whatever, but like it's two steps forward, one step back, right? So I think what's going to happen with CARF, we're going to find out who the truly decentralized projects are or not. Because the way I read it and understand it is it's like it comes down to control. Like, do you have the ability to control and do things? And so yeah, it's coming, man. I think they are aware and they do understand, but the flip side is I think they also understand that they can't stop it. And the best they can try to do is try to regulate it or try and slow it down or trying to find other ways, right? But this is the point of decentralization, is that there is no head to go after, right? It doesn't fit into their they're like the legal system, right? There's no entity or person to go after, so they can't. They still have to, as evil as they are, they still have to operate within their existing framework, right? So, and that's what CARF is going to try to do. So it's coming, it's happening, man. It's not, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, and I'm glad you said that, right? And I think they're behind the boat, obviously, because to do something like that, it takes a while. But I think it would just be smart practice for any project, whether it's Unstoppable, THORChain, Maya Protocol, or anyone out there who's a builder, just assume 100% competency from these people, and to continue to build like crazy. Don't for a second get comfortable. Don't stop until the job's done, right? That's what we have to do. That's our mandate, not to just ourselves, to each other. So yeah, we do have a new speaker come up here. Go ahead.
I want to add. Yeah, I just want to add to it. So my understanding is the OECD that came up with this and is like kind of passing it down. And it's like no one voted for this, right? There's no. This is like a WEF thing where it's like just some global, regulatory body just comes up with this arbitrary framework and is like, and passing it down to these countries, and they're just voluntarily adopting it, and it's going to become like the reason like Cayman will go along with it is because they're trying to play nice in the sandbox because they don't want to be blacklisted, right? And this is how like the U.S. for example weaponizes the dollar in the SWIFT system. If you're not playing by these rules, that's okay, but now you can't access U.S. dollars. You can access SWIFT, right? You get cut out from the banking system. So this is just a prime example of like the bureaucracy just like running amok, right? Unaccountable. So but this is how we fight it. Decentralization is how we fight it, right? This is our revolution, right? How we fight back, because voting doesn't change any of this. Voting didn't even enact it. It's just people so entrenched in the system are pushing this stuff through. So my rant over. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the speaker.
Well, no, I'm glad you said that, because as a public official myself, I got a small peek behind the curtain, and it's terrifying to me. So yeah, and we got to keep going, guys. So I'm really glad you said that, Kenton. We need to be reminded of this often because it's quite real. It is not. It's not some romantic machination in our mind of good versus evil. The stakes are real. And what we need to do is quite real. So absolutely. But anyway, yes, you are right. We have Partiziza. I'm sorry if I don't say that correctly. Blockchain. Welcome. What do you got for us?
Thank you. It's Particia Blockchain. By the way, hello everyone. We're fans of everyone here. THORChain, Rune, Unstoppable, Mocha. As a matter of fact, we love the privacy space and we play in this space a lot. We're about privacy-focused public blockchain network, and we natively integrate secure multi-party computation with smart contracts to enable computations on encrypted data without exposing the underlying input. And particularly to the side, I personally am a user of Unstoppable Wallet and been a huge fan for a very long time. And I think I want to resonate a little bit with some of the things you guys said as far as whoever these oligarchs are. And I think one of the weapons that they have that we don't have is information. They have information and they have leverage in terms of a huge war chest, something that is very difficult to get, especially if you have so much to do as far as numbers are concerned. And hence the reason why community is very important for like minds to come together and build together. But ultimately, the reason why I stepped in, of course, it's one of the reasons why is because of the platforms that are on here that we love, and also we wanted to ask what would be the criteria. For example, this is directly to Unstoppable. What would be the criteria to for Unstoppable to pick like platforms to work with? An insight that you mentioned that I myself am not familiar with is what you mentioned with regarding blacklisted platforms having the ability to blacklist your your wallet. I do know that USDT can blacklist tokens, but I didn't know that wallets could be blacklisted. But that being said, we feel maybe multi-party computation could be helpful in areas where perhaps you need to do a bit of KYC without necessarily sharing who you are, and hence why we decided to ask these questions. Hope I didn't ramble too much there.
Are you muted, Unstoppable?
Yes, the question is for Unstoppable.
Okay, yeah.
Actually, not for Unstoppable. I would say everyone here, since the point is to find ways to work together and use the best part of our tech and protect ourselves. But primarily, just because Unstoppable mentioned something around KYC, tracking your wallet and blacklisting wallets, I thought probably they'd be in the best position to answer the question. So what where do you see something like multi-party computation, for example? Do you think it is a feature to have, for example, on a wallet, where perhaps maybe certain situations you're in, you just have to show some KYC, but you don't want to share R, which is kind of like part of what we do. We do key management systems on those fronts as well.
Hey, nice to meet.
Hi. Nice to meet you too.
So, like first about the blacklisting. So basically, Tether, they do not blacklist wallets. In a way, they cannot there is no way for them to blacklist, let's say, Unstoppable wallet or like Trust wallet or some other wallet. What I meant is they blacklist addresses, wallet addresses. So, and in case of EVM, address is a wallet. So I guess that's like a terminology thing. But so basically they can blacklist addresses. And if you are interacting with that address at some point, receiving payment from it or sending payment to it, in some cases, you may not even know. Let's say you are operating a physical OTC exchange. And my experience with those exchanges were that you come to their office and they have a QR code that everyone uses to send payments. And like I thought, okay, that's so unsecure for them, not just for them, but even for their users. So even if there is just one bad entity, one bad apple comes in and sends a payment, it jeopardizes the funds of that exchange, of that OTC exchange, on centralized exchange, basically, if they have accounts on centralized exchange, and they do, because that's how I think they ultimately settle trades. At the same time, not just them, but also jeopardizes all other users that came there. So that's the point I tried to make about the blacklisting and and at the same time, many wallets are fairly well, not a good word, but stupid. Like the software itself is not smart enough to kind of do that fairly basic checks to make sure that the address is okay, because users, they don't know. You need to do it for them under the hood, basically. And so that's the thing about blacklisting feature. Now about MPC. Well, first of all, we are not really anti-KYC type of people, I mean, there is a place where KYC is necessary. And even in your real lives, let's say you're taking your son to a kindergarten, right? Well, they would not accept you anonymously, right? You need to do some kind of due diligence. And there are many other cases in real life where that is necessary, and that is normal. So the problem is with KYC now is that it's being done everywhere for every tiny little thing, and that's one. And secondly is that you are giving them so much of data, and I've personally been through many KYC processes. Like in some cases it was relevant to crypto, in other cases like due diligence matters where you kind of in some kind of business dealings in them, and it's how to say it, it's not just annoying, it's in some cases it's kind of it's you kind of get this feeling
like a violation.
Yeah, it feels like a violation, because let's say you have a deal going on, and you suddenly receive a huge sum to your bank account, and everything went completely fine, completely transparent, with all the necessary lawyers in place and so on. But like it would take for several years after that deal, every single financial institution would kind of ask you for every single bit about the deal, and in some cases they would not even trust it. I mean, it's getting absurd, really, to the level of KYC some of the banks are doing right now. It's absurd. And so that's one thing. And second is that the data protection protocols in these organizations are absurd too, I mean, I can't trust, let's say, I mean, I would, it's my subjective opinion, but if let's say I'm going to some reputable organization, even a traditional fintech, but with a proper business practices and so on, bureaucratic one, I can kind of trust their KYC protocols. At least I would kind of not be too worried about it. But but at the same time, where you have a crypto exchange, which is not really, and you don't know it's like where even its headquarters are located. It's like maybe banned in half part of the world, another half part it operates under without any licenses and so on. I mean, and they're asking you to do they're taking you through whole KYC process. So, and there are so many questions like how they keep that data. Do they share that data with someone, And then you also see this news where that data is being stolen even from really good exchange, which you thought were really good at least, So this is the problem. This is the main problem, I would say. I mean, like from the bird eye view. I mean, of course, we can go deeper and say, okay, in some cases, why there is KYC at all, But in general, these are two main problems. So KYC has its place, and it needs to be done in certain situations. It's just the way it's being done now feels like it does a lot more harm than actually the problems it's trying to solve. So, and at this point, you have to ask yourself a question: do I actually, can I expose myself, or can I take my precautions and look for ways where I can achieve the same thing, but without being exposed to those risks? So, if I can buy something on decentralized DEX, why wouldn't I buy there rather than risk myself and go through like some exchange and and go through a lot of problems as well? So that's about KYC. And now about MPC stuff. MPC is a good tech. I think it has its place, and I think it's needed because right now, when it comes to wallets, even specifically, not. I mean, a lot of people. I would say it's an unfortunate, but it's a fact. Not a lot of people can be their own bank. Basically, some people would be better off if there is always a backup option where they would be able to to restore or to reaccess their funds if something goes wrong if they lose the key or something else. So that's one aspect of it. There are many others. So I personally know a couple of really good white label wallet solutions that operate on MPC principle, and I think they work well. I mean, if they were not around, we would probably build one ourselves. It's just we discovered it kind of later. Later, I would say it was a bit too late. But as a solution, it has its own place. At the same time, if you are a Freedom Maxi, or if you are operate in a manner where you need to ensure that you are resilient and that you need guarantees that you are not censored, then MPC may not be for you. So, but these are not like a majority group. This is more like of a minority group, just like in everything else. Like privacy maxis are not majority right now. I mean, although we do talk a lot privacy a lot, I mean, if you kind of start asking people about whether they actually do the stuff they talk about, you would not find a lot of people trying to actually living by that. I mean, yeah, my 2 cents.
Right. Thanks. I really appreciate your perspective on the three headlines, and yeah, definitely. We also believe that when something is being forced, then there's probably, for lack of better term, an agenda behind it. And it's really important to have an alternative, not just one, maybe 10, as a matter of fact, considering where the world is headed right now. And yeah, it's really interesting to have that perspective and to speak to you today. Hope we'll be joining a lot more hangouts like this in the future.
Hey, I got a question for you. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
So, okay, I'm just curious. By the way, I'm really happy you came up. I love hearing project and team that share our ethos, understand what's going on. It makes me feel so good. But I'm just curious, based on what you do, what is your revenue stream? How do you make your pound of flesh, right? Because I'm just curious if there is some collaborative element here, given that, we're all around this decentralized ethos, this tech. If there's any primitives or anything you guys are planning on doing or offering, if there's anything that, maybe we could synergize a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do our MPC. Firstly, we're layer one ourselves. We're not necessarily tied to Ethereum or EVM per se. We're in our own lane. We have over 30 years of experience going behind our own version of multi-party computation. We do have a partnership. We love to build our ecosystem beyond where it is today. And one of our very successful partnerships was with IDOS. IDOS is a non-custodial KYC management system. So essentially what it is you put in your KYC once, and whenever it's requested from someone, you just show what you need to show without them knowing who you are, because of the ZK element that is built into it. So on that front, we are hoping to actually have a lot of these types of non-custodial key management systems, not only within Web3, but also in Web2, wherever we can find them. So we, at this point, we're really looking at open source communities, because open source communities tend to have very good devs in there, and it's very vibrant, and platforms who generally believe in privacy. These are our target audience that we're going for. So I hope that kind of answers the question, but yeah, that's at least one of the ways that we're going about it.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And you are understandable, but your mic does cut out like once every 2.5 seconds or something like that. But Kenton, I'm going to kick it to you. I believe, and thank you for explaining that, by the way. I really appreciate it. Kenton, were you going to say something? I'll kick it to you.
Thank you.
I'm not just going to add to the conversation about KYC. Like I heard, apparently in Europe, more money is spent on compliance than there is actual money laundering. So it's just like, it's just, and that's the direct cost, let alone the indirect cost of just handicapping, honest people transacting honestly, right? And just making it so difficult. So yeah, I in my opinion, that this is the system is going to collapse on itself. Like they're going to make, like I mentioned Carf earlier, they're going to come out with so many rules and regulations, all kind of stuff. It's just going to eventually push people into crypto, because like we just can't. It's impossible to comply with all this, because it's effectively, we've gone backwards 500 years. We're now guilty and have to prove ourselves innocent, right? And like it's impossible to prove that you're. You know what I mean? Like if somebody just if they come at us with automatically you're guilty and you have to prove you're innocent, it's like it's so hard to do that. And that's where we're at. That's what these regulations and laws are. So I actually think it's going to push. Are the people going to get pushed into crypto, or they're going to go down with the ship, right? And it's be interesting to see how it all shakes out.
Yeah. And always remember, my friends, the biggest criminals of all are government themselves. And they are largely above the law. And KYC, right? It's inconvenience, but we also like to say it means kill your customer, because there are real concerns, real safety considerations when you surrender your own data to third parties. It's a nonsense thing. We know we're on the right side, guys. We keep pushing. But Kenton, I'm wondering now if time is to transition to the front end.
100%.
Yeah, not getting any questions. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, sorry. I'm interrupting you. Go ahead.
Oh, no, we're good. I just no questions from the community. And I think that's because everyone understands, and I suspected this, that Unstoppable, your ethos is and what you guys stand for. So that's a really good sign. But go ahead, Kenton, I'll kick it to you.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. We should keep the conversation moving here. And I appreciate Unstoppable, your time. But let's start shifting gears towards THORChain and the front end. So in the summer, I was pretty loud about THORChain needing its own front end and, looking for devs to do it. And I had a few, for as many people that were criticizing me, mocking me online, I had as many people supporting me and wanting to help. And a few different teams offered to build a free front end and for THORChain. And Unstoppable is one of them. And so, so I talked to all these different teams and whatnot, talked to Unstoppable, and just based on what everybody, all of our ideas, what they wanted to do and contribute, like a lot of people were like, there's a lot of good people out there, a lot of good teams. And after talking to everybody, I kind of basically settled on Unstoppable, thinking, okay, I think we're going to get best bang for our buck. And more importantly, like you guys you're committed, like to the vision, right? The ethos. And so maybe Unstoppable, maybe you can just kind of, like why did you offer to make a free front end for THORChain? Why did you want to get involved? Why did you agree to develop this front end with us and stay with it to support it? What motivated you? What's in it for you? Why are you guys doing this?
Well, as I have said, THORChain was the first. For us, it was the first working cross-chain DEX. We have seen a lot of noise over the years. We have seen a lot of promises. A number of projects were building, and we tried building even some ourselves. And THORChain was the one actually that worked, delivered, and moreover actually had the volumes in some cases which were like competing with that of Binance, like when you can say you can do a 6-7 figure swap of BTC in THORChain and get maybe a better rate than you would get on Binance. So that was amazing. And we actually felt that this was one of the best things that happened to crypto over the last 5-6 years. Yeah, one of the best, really. So that was one thing, right? Second, we wanted to be a part of it, and we said, okay, how we can be part of it, we don't know, but let's at least get to know the people who are in that community. What are they after? And we started following you. Well, actually, as a quick detour, 1 minute, and I actually want to add it because I felt that's important. So when you asked me why it took us that long to add THORChain, because it's been added to wallet like 6-7 months now, why not earlier? I actually remembered why. Yeah, it was added into development server actually maybe 1.5 or 2 years ago, and the reason it was not pushed live, because when we started testing it, we realized that okay, there was one problem where it's a technical thing, but maybe you can know about it. There are people who should know about it. So not all your, let's say, Bitcoin balance can be used to swap on THORChain. So if, let's say, you made a withdrawal from Binance to your wallet, and that withdrawal just landed in your wallet, you will not be able to swap it on THORChain. And there are reasons for that, and there are ways to kind of fix that. But it was kind of problematic for us to figure out how to make it all understandable and comprehensible in the UI part. So we postponed that thing, and and it stayed postponed for about a year until until I think a lot of people were complaining that centralized exchange were shutting them down for that same KYC thing, tightening and so on. And that's how it kind of became back on the priority list, and we kind of we went ahead and figured that thing out. So that's going back to why it took a while.
Can I interrupt you for a sec?
Yeah.
When you say
Yeah.
you can't, when you withdraw Bitcoin from Binance to your wallet, you can't trade on Bitcoin or trade on THORChain. Are you saying you need to wait like an hour? Like it needs to go through so many confirmations for the make sure that
No,
Bitcoin is
you actually cannot use that specific unspent output, because due to the way that how nodes on THORChain validate deposits. Yeah, what you can do, either use I mean, most Bitcoin transactions would be fine. It's only those that are typically withdrawals from, well, Binance does that. They take, in one transaction, they send to many addresses. So, and that's a problem for the THORChain nodes. Yeah, they do not like that. They do not accept those. So one way to mitigate this is to kind of take your balance, send it to yourself. Yeah, one more transaction, and after that it's usable again, So it applies only to Bitcoin, and it has this specific issue. And yeah, maybe right now it's already not the issue, but I think it's still the issue. Yeah, I think they'll may figure it out in the long run how to. It's basically computationally expensive for nodes to monitor those UTXOs. So yeah.
I interrupted you.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah. So we wanted to be a part of it, basically, and I think it wasn't me, but one of our guys reached out on Twitter and said that we saw around that time in the summer, we saw a discussion on Twitter that THORChain didn't have its own front end. And back then, actually, we didn't know about all different. Well, we knew that there was a Tor swap, there was Leodex, we knew there was SwapKit, but we didn't know the history and how they were all related, like what kind of business setups were there in each project. We kind of had no idea about it. Well, we still kind of know just from the top, yeah. So, but what we realized that THORChain didn't have one, and the community was saying that it would be cool if there was one. So we jumped in and thought, okay, why not to build one? Because we felt that we can do it and do it quickly and do it well. I mean, at least we had this confidence about it. So that's how we got in.
Nice, great. And I'm pretty happy so far. I really like, it's one thing. It's easy to say, oh, you need a simple interface, easy to use, right? Everybody says that. We all know that. But to actually deliver and do it, I think you guys have done a great job so far on building like a simple, easy to use interface. So I've been happy with that. I hope everybody else is. But you're not done yet, right? We still have lots more features to add to the site. Can you kind of give us an idea, like when do you think we'll be able to get like, bonding your rune, LPing, message deposit, like kind of the actions you can do with rune? Do you have an idea when you think we'll be able to start seeing those on the front end?
Well, yeah, I think soon. Right now, I think we are in that stage where we went through the hardest part, that is to make first stable release, which happened, I think, 2-3 weeks ago, right? Or a few weeks back, basically. So right now we try to kind of do some clean up some technical as well as some organizational depth, if I can say name it. So like a lot of things we did in a rushing manner, right? Because, well, I told you, we discussed that in the past, I think, both privately and publicly. First thing that I want to say publicly, and I think it hasn't been mentioned, that you did an amazing job, because you essentially well, those who are in software development process and been working on large projects, they would know that what you have been doing as a single person, usually like in larger teams, is like maybe a task for 5-6 people. Yeah. At the same time, in our case, like we it may look just like a simple website, with like a couple of input buttons, but there is a lot of things under the hood, and a lot. And so yeah, it was the most important part was to deliver it, and I think that part we did well. There were a lot of things we could have done better, and right now we try to fix those, like well, attestations, libraries, cleanup, documentation, and so on. So those are kind of finalized. For example, as you know, like at first when we launched, the whole thing was on our servers. Now it's on your servers. So all of those things are being done right now. I think we are polishing, and you are aware, we are polishing like things like blacklists, some compliance measures that the most necessary ones, basically, right? Like terrorists, like those compliance things that you would expect it from sanctioned, like published sanctioned lists and so on. So those are in place. So the most important ones, I think, we are maybe towards the end of the next week, we will kind of will have another sort of major release with the latest bug fixes and so on. And after that, we would start working on those features that you and community had planned to have on that interface. So right now, the first version of the interface was to launch a website that would allow someone to swap on the THORChain. And that happened a few months ago. The second major thing was to ensure that swaps can be done not just through a THORChain, but through a set of dexes. So it's like from a simple swap website, you go to an aggregation type of website. And that was also a major task, which actually, a really major task. And I think we're kind of done with it, because right now, THORChain nodes are voted that there should be just Maya and THORChain, so there are just 2 dexes. But nonetheless, the aggregation part was built, and although it will be just using 2 dexes right now, if there is, well, if I'm not mistaken, just last week another fork of THORChain launched. So at some point you might want to add this one. So if there is ever a need to add more dexes, it's really easy to do that right now. So that part was the second major part. And next, I think 2-3 months, we are likely to finish everything that we wanted to do, and that is limit swaps. What else? All the THORChain blockchain specific things like rune bonding. So all those things that I think I've seen on THORSwap, I think has them, right? So we have a list of them somewhere, but I haven't. I don't really remember it by heart. Yeah. So, but those things I think they're quick, because we actually spent some time estimating the workload at the very beginning, so back in the summer, and at that point I don't remember that any of those being a major task. So so it's December now. If all goes well, maybe end of February, everything that ever planned for it should be there. Plus all the things that you need to maintain. I mean, it's not just the features, right? We are building all the features, but there are many other things which you haven't specifically asked us to do, but we have to provide you them with, so that you are not always dependent on us, and you are also as a community, you are also more or less have administrative things like a panel for everything you need to do on the THORChain. For example, let's say you want like to instantly halt the interface. Well, for whatever reason, sometimes there are bugs, there are like hacks, right? And you need to pause everything. Yeah. And for that, you don't need to like go and look for your dev to go like, I don't know, take the server down. So you simply may, I don't know, open some website, some web link on your mobile phone, enter an administrative password and click a pause button, so something like that. Or like if you want to maintain like, I don't know, let's say like someone is something, some major hack is going on, and you don't want those funds to pass through your THORChain, right? So you can instantly go and add that address to some kind of blacklist menu, so that yeah, you don't have to look for anyone to do it. You can just, or anyone with an administrative level access to the site can do that without having to go and look for a dev or some kind of yeah, technical guy to do it. So those things are being done in parallel too. Mm, yeah, I think, yeah, 2-3 months. So everything that's native to Tor blockchain or THORChain blockchain will be there, and limit orders. I also see that THORChain itself is being improved right now. I've seen, I think JP posted some things today or yesterday. So if part of those things will affect how swaps are being done, and maybe it will require some change on the interface side, we would add those too. If THORChain community, and I've seen there were discussions about it, if THORChain community decides to have someone from the THORChain community itself, let's say, doing administration and developing the site further, yeah, we would provide necessary documentation and everything for that person to kind of take over that from us. That's basically in our best interest to kind of build, provide you with all the tools you need to maintain, and yeah, and to continue doing our stuff, or continue doing something else within the THORChain ecosystem, because right now THORChain blockchain evolves quite well, and I see like some things that can be built on top of it, which we are really interested in, like, I don't know, like a stable coin that's where a Bitcoin is a collateral, that can be built, for example, on the THORChain, and we are interested in those things. So yeah, that's a vision, a plan.
Great. Yeah, I just want to clarify one thing. It wasn't the nodes that decided or voted on the DEX aggregator only being THORChain and Maya. It was the Treasury, and they just told me just the other day. But like you said, it's there, it's in place. We can always change that, always add other DEXs if we want. That's great, Unstoppable. So that was actually one thing that stood out for me too when we first started having these conversations in July or August, was that you wanted to build the front end, do it in a way that you could hand it off. That, like, if we wanted to part ways with you guys, whoever replaced you would be able to hit the ground running. They'd be able to take it over and keep going. So it was, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think you actually originally, that is what you wanted to do, was to just build it for us and then leave. And it was me that actually kind of insisted on keeping you guys around. Like, I don't, if you built it, I think it's great if you maintain it because you're familiar with it. But what I'm trying to say is either scenario you're okay with, right? It wasn't like, we have to get you to build it and we have to keep you forever type thing. Like, if we want to hand it off to someone else, we can. And it's not, that wouldn't bother you, right? There's no hard feelings or anything.
Oh no, yeah, no. In fact, that's what we want, because Well, I'll be honest, it's demanding. It's interesting and we like doing that, but it's also demanding, right? And it's responsibility. Other apart from demanding, and responsibility is that first of all, THORChain has a large community, and it's larger than ours. And although I feel that our communities now intersect, our
Right.
the values shared by our users are also the values shared by THORChain users. So that's a cool thing for us. But still, it's a large community, larger than ours. It's demanding. It's a lot of responsibility because on many levels there are a lot of larger sums going through THORChain. There is a technology which we are familiar with, but not as well as familiar with the wallet, with the stuff we worked on. I mean, we actually built a DEX, two DEXs before on using the same tech stack, but still, it's something. Let's say we worked with for like 3 years, not like 10 or 15 years. If you ask for about mobile tech stuff, Swift, Kotlin, we know these things really well. We are really comfortable with them. We built a lot of libraries. We built Bitcoin on that, like actual Bitcoin client based on the reference specifications, and so on. So it's demanding. It is a community and project we like and we want to be a part of it. But at the same time, it's one thing to be a part of it and working on your thing within that ecosystem, rather than on working a major thing on that ecosystem and get paid for it. Because when you are paid, you are expected to do certain things. You are also responsible for certain things and so on. And best is to build, to make it well, to do your best thing, to be there when you need us. Let's say for, I don't know, for anything, yeah, for maybe to train someone new who comes up, yeah, or but not to actually take it as a long-term task and like another introduce a whole new domain to your existing agenda. That was not our plan. So we wanted to build, we wanted to to kind of become part of the community, but ideally to build and to pass it on. And I don't see any reason why it cannot be done, because if, let's say, we built a wallet for you, a mobile wallet, or let's say we build the same things but on using Swift and Kotlin, then passing it over would be difficult. I mean, we would pass it over, but it would be hard to find someone to maintain it. But when it comes to the web tech stack, it's fairly standard technologies, fairly standard practices. We didn't try to innovate too much, because in crypto, innovating is not good. It's risky. You just take what works and you implement it. So where we do innovate is the front end, yeah, because that's where we have a lot of experience with. So there we can take, and there are like no risks with like security risks. But when it comes to
Do you mean like the interface, like just
yeah,
the
the
flow, how it
interface,
works?
yeah,
How it looks?
yeah, the looks of it. So I don't see any reason why it cannot be transitioned. So if you, at some point, if a treasury, let's say, after we are done and after there is a documentation in place, you can actually hire someone full-time, and one person would be enough. And it would be normal for that person to know everything for the all parts of the setup, because setup is not complicated, and it uses it uses more or less one type of technology. Yeah, it's like React, JavaScript, and so on. It's not like you have to know a lot of different domains. So if someone has experience working in Web3 and that person is proficient, just even one person would be enough to maintain it. Of course, if you want to redesign the whole thing at some point and redo maybe how like swap works and so on, yeah, you might need to expand the team. But to maintain it, to fix the bugs, to add new features, one person would be enough.
But in the meantime, we have you, right? You're not
Yeah,
going to leave us high
in
and
the
dry.
until we are done, we made a commitment. So as long as we have that understanding, we'll finish what we have started.
Yeah, good. I'm looking forward to it finishing too. Patriot, do you have any questions?
Well, I just want to say right now, this is happening live. I had someone come in the Telegram, THORChain Telegram, and they just reported an issue about USDT Ethereum to Bitcoin swap. They're getting a 404 error. So I just conveyed to them in private DM that to submit an email request to see, I think it was the Wasabi wallet or something, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, just a little highlight there. So again, thank you everyone for helping Unstoppable and the various devs bug and to fix the issue. And they will be submitting an email with that as well. But I just want to say it live and bring it to your attention. So great job, everybody. Please keep doing that. You're only helping the Unstoppable guys. You're only helping Kenton make the interface better, faster. That's what we need. So well done.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is why like the site's still in beta, right? Like where this is why it's not done, right? And that's why I haven't really want to try to promote it too much because there's still edge cases, right? There's still issues we still need to iron out. And but yeah, thank you. Yeah, please tell us, right? If there's some like I'll have people tell me about an issue. I'm like, I can't reproduce it, but it's happening on their end. And I'm like, I have no idea. So like, you know, everybody's computers are different. Everybody uses it differently. Everyone has different wallets, different browsers. Like it's all, the more feedback we get, the better.
I do have one thing I want to ask. You know, when you were making the front end, it's a lot of the THORChain things, right? You know, the bonding, all that stuff's coming, which is great. But one thing I want to ask is, what about the Rajira side? You know, they're really cooking. Obviously, nothing is prime time yet. But I'm curious if, you know, how you are envisioning that, like how long that might take you to integrate, if you're not sure. And if you do integrate it, is it something that, you know, would be kind of good for your own hard work? If you add, let's say, lending, liquidations, things like that to the front end, can you just pull that out and add it to your Unstoppable wallet pretty quickly since you built it for the front end itself?
Well, in context of what needs to be done for the THORChain, I only have like I only have understanding about the workload involved, about things that Kenton told us about. So there are, I mean, I'm one of the people involved, and I take like more of I stay between the devs and the Kenton, you know, to make sure that there is a like a proper communication. So whatever Kenton wants is, I kind of convert that into the tech tasks and so on. There is someone else as well apart from me, but basically I don't know about Rujira yet because that's not. We haven't discussed it basically. Yeah, that's the reason. But I know what Rujira does and what kind of services there are, and I don't see any problem with it. I mean, it's all fairly standard things which can be added. The point is that it's always good to add things like iteratively, right? And we had this even with Kenton in the past. We discussed this. For example, at one point we had this swap working, and then memoless came in, and then like limit orders came in, and I told Kate that okay, first we need to work on the memoless to integrate it properly, to make sure that we feel completely good about it, and only then start working on limits. And we actually read about the limits before that, and we understood, okay, it was more of a UI thing, you know, you need to think through all potential cases with memoless first, and then with limits. And trying to do all of those two things at the same time is, well, it's a waste of time most of the time, because you would design one thing, you would think of some edge cases, and you would think that you covered all the potential cases. But when the devs actually implement it, there will be so more new cases come, like coming up so that you kind of at some point understand that, okay, your design no longer works. You need to start from fresh, So right now we feel that limit order should come in next. And with that, we have trading sort of everything related to trading kind of implemented. Then we start thinking about non-trading related stuff, but stuff related to THORChain itself. And those are like rune bonding, staking, and things like that. Yeah. And I would do that first, and later, think about things like Rujira stuff that's there, with the lending and so on. But it's really not up to us. It's I'm more of I'm trying to just I listen what the community needs, and then kind of tell Kenton whether we can do it or not, or I mean, with whether we can do it or not is one thing, and second, in some cases there may be reason why we would not want to do that, and we would tell that. But whatever we had planned so far for the THORChain related stuff, we feel that we can deliver, and it will be all there by probably by the end of February, I think. And if Rujira becomes necessary, then we will discuss it with Kenton. I basically see no problem with it, but it's haven't been talked about basically yet.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that. So basically, I've been like kind of telling Unstoppable like what to prioritize, what to do first, where to go, and yeah, we feel like getting the limit orders done here is probably a bit more important than the rune bonding and stuff. So that's what we're working on that next, and then the Rujira stuff, the smart contract app layer stuff. It is on our Google Doc, IBEC. But it's I've been viewing that as kind of like the last thing to do. Like let's get L1 swaps done, let's get all the THORChain features done, and basically save app layer for last. And it's been a while, been a few months since I chatted with Pragmatic Monkey about it, but I'm sure his views haven't changed, but he's like 100% supportive. So, I'm sure they could basically, share all their code with us, right, from Ruji Trade. And we basically, copy as much as we can to get into the THORChain front end. And I've already been thinking about like, how do we separate the two? So I'm wondering if it's kind of like, Kraken and Coinbase now, I think, and then Binance does this, but I think Kraken and Coinbase, maybe some other sexes do this, where they have like a basic view and then a pro view. And the basic view is like what you see on Uniswap and the THORChain front end, like a simple swap interface. And then the pro view is like what you see in Binance, like the market depth, the charts and, all your orders, all kind of stuff. So I'm wondering, I'm just wrapping live. IBEC and I haven't even talked about this, but like I've been kind of wondering on the THORChain front end, if we do something similar where we have like the default is the basic view, what you see now, and then maybe you click a button to go to the pro, and then that's when you get all the app layer features. And it, it's a brand new, it's a totally different look, right? You kind of like go into a different interface in a sense. But this is, I'm putting the app layer stuff like at the end of the list, basically. Want to get all the THORChain layer 1 stuff done, get all that done, looking good. I'd even like to, I'm even thinking, again, I'm just thinking out loud right now, to prioritize the widget, the ability for people to fork THORChain and have a THORChain widget interface on their website. I'm even thinking maybe that might be more important to do before the app layer features. But this is more kind of the end of the process, right? We're focusing more on the immediate things. The Patriot is like blowing up my Telegram right now. I think he got rugged.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, you're there. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're back. You're here. Okay.
Yeah, it hit me with "Are you a bot?" notification mid as I'm co-hosting a space and just rug. This is my phone. Unbelievable. Thank you, X. That was well done. Brilliant. Slow clap for X, everybody. Continue, Kenton. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. Just you guys stop texting Telegram. I'm getting hit with all these notifications. It's distracting. Did you want to keep going, Patriot? You had I don't know if you heard us talking, but do you have any other follow-up questions you wanted to?
Well, I don't, for the brevity of time, I asked about the Ruggiero primitives, and then that is exactly when I got hit with the thing. So I'll just listen to the recording to hear the answer to that. I don't want to duplicate material for the audience, but yeah, I don't know what you guys just talked about. But yeah, continue on, Kenton.
Okay, yeah, I'll send the recording. Listeners, guys, audience, if you have any questions you want to come up, please do. We're running on 2 hours here. Should probably maybe start wrapping it up here soon if no one has any questions. Ibik, is there anything that we haven't discussed that you'd like to bring up and talk about? Whether it's about the front end or Unstoppable Wallet, anything else you want to chat about?
I think we covered pretty much everything. Yeah, nothing specific on my mind. Yeah, basically, I think we are done with the most essential parts. I mean, if the goal was to build a THORChain frontend, it's there. We are yet to finalize it, and that is to build all other things that you also wanted to have there. So those, I don't see any problems there. It's not like complexity-wise, those are much more simpler things. I do think that there are some things that you might want to think about improving on the compliance part, because its essentials are there in place, but it can be better. And that really depends on several factors, which are more for THORChain Treasury to decide, especially whether certain services should be put in place. So that's a thing for you guys to think about. Other than that,
let me address that.
Yeah.
Ibik. So yeah. So far, Treasury's on board. They want to do something. We're talking about it. Because basically the blacklist address, the blacklisting that we have in place is kind of like bare minimum, right? And we don't want to do the bare minimum. We want to do more.
Yeah.
And
I do feel that if you are not like a niche DEX, right? You are essentially you are like becoming a front face for a DEX in general, for in the entire crypto ecosystem, not just in the THORChain ecosystem. And I think you should kind of adopt all the best practices which are out there. Security best practices, we are adopting the technical best practices, but we are doing the technical stuff. But there are other parts to it, like security best practices, compliance best practices. I mean, there are some things you have to do, and these are some things are subjective, and some projects would go and do a lot more things that they have to do so much that they would end up doing more compliance than I don't know, a bank, a traditional bank, and that hurts people. But at the same time, what you want to make sure is that there is let's say if there is some really bad things happening, and you don't want to serve those people. And yeah, there are, I think, universally agreed thing. There is no point in listing some things, but there are universally agreed certain activities which neither of us wants or to be a part of, I don't know, pedophilia or some other things. I won't list those, but yeah. So a good compliance is essential. And yeah, our job is to make sure that you are not just paying for help you. I mean, you don't need us for that, but we obviously can integrate it well. And yeah, if there is any other ways where we can improve things, we also add those. I mean, right now we say that there is a bare minimum, but essentially the existing interface already actually scans a number, maybe 4 or 5 databases. Some of those are not really known, but we also do that right now.
Yeah, I agree. I would love to have, our goal to be, the THORChain Frontend having the best wallet blacklist there is. And if not the best, at least top quartile, right? Like we're trying. And for anyone, there's some people will snicker and be like, oh, well, I thought THORChain is permissionless. Why are you blacklisting? It's like, well, the protocol is permissionless, but the front end can have a blacklist, right? The front end doesn't equal the protocol. And I think anyone who's smart enough to understand why freedom of speech matters and freedom of transacting matters can understand the difference between the THORChain front end and THORChain protocol. And there are other front ends. If you're really a purist and you're like, well, I'm not going to use the THORChain front end because I got a wallet blacklist. That's blah blah blah. There are other front ends that do not use blacklists, right? So that's one of the advantages and values of THORChain having partners, is that THORChain being integrated everywhere, that some people don't want to run on blacklist, they don't have to. That's that's their prerogative, right? It's not for us to tell them what to do. So those options, for you purists out there, those options are available. But for the THORChain front end, for saving face, for marketing, right? At least we can say, hey, on our front end, we're doing what we can. We're taking it seriously and we're trying. We can't censor at the protocol level, but we can censor at the front end level, and we'll try our best there. And so it actually, for the THORChain front end, like the best thing for that front end is just have as much legitimate volume as possible, right? And stop all the illicit stuff, because then that just helps paint us in a more positive light and helps us get past the kind of the bad press in the past. So yeah, so I don't think it's hypocrisy or contradictory for the front end to have wallet blacklist, where but at the same time say THORChain is permissionless. Yeah,
I totally agree. That's not a hard one at all. I think that's one of the easier things to just. I mean, I hate to sound hand wavy, but that's just silly. I mean, if you're having a front end, you can do what you can to stop criminals from using it. That's fine. But if the base protocol itself is permissionless, then our ethos is intact. It does not matter. So yeah, I that one was easy. I'm surprised people are bringing that up. Honestly, that's just I think common sense. Go ahead, Unstoppable. Get your hand up.
I think what everyone should understand is that everyone. I mean, first of all, the protocol, they are not run by someone. They are not run by single entity. It's a group of, well, it's a large group of nodes, and anyone can potentially become a node. You don't need someone's permission. I mean, yeah. So it's decentralized in that case. Interfaces, on the other hand, especially those that are accessible through like a domain, yeah, like THORChain.com, yeah, and any other domain specifically, they are centralized, and so there are entities behind those, like in many cases physical entities behind those, and so expecting for the interface for the website to be decentralized sort of is, well, it's in many, I wouldn't say it's impossible, but it's unreasonable, and that's one part. So a website cannot be censorship resistant. A protocol, anyone can go and broadcast a transaction to THORChain, and for that you don't need a website. You can use a block explorer. I think THORScan, is the name of block explorer. So I'm not specifically if THORChain has that capability, but I'm pretty sure it does. So this, you don't need to be a super like technical. With a fairly basic tools, you can go and broadcast any transaction you want to a THORChain blockchain, and you can make it look as though it was actually. I mean, you can kind of spoof it and make it look as though it was. It may seem as a transaction going through some with that Tor name. You know, you can basically put any Tor name you want to any transaction. Yeah. So someone would see a Tor name and thinking, oh, that transaction went through that interface, but actually it didn't. It was so that there is that thing that everyone should understand. Yeah. So the bad entities or anyone who really wants to publish transaction, they will, and for that they don't need an interface. Yeah, that's a fact.
And
Yeah.
they did do that. That's what was
Yeah,
happening.
they do that,
February.
and they will do that, and they can even do that in a way where a public would think that that transaction was actually happened on some specific website, yeah, or interface. So that's one thing. Second, all of us have a different understanding of a censorship resistant and decentralization. You know, and that is a spectrum. Some would say I go 100%. There are no ifs and everything should go. But some are a bit more moderate and would say, okay, I'm fine with up 98%. Where I don't want, like, let's say, well, there are a lot of I don't want to mention those like specific niches, but there are a lot of niches which which are unhumane basically, and you don't want to be involved with that with those people or with those entities, with that industry or domain in any way possible, not just for regulatory reasons, but for like humane reasons, for ethical reasons, yeah, like for personal reasons, right? So there are legitimate ways, reasons for some interface operator, whether it's a person or a company, to have their I mean, if they're putting their time and effort to run an interface, it's might be in their interests also to not to serve specific type of people. Yeah, and if those people want to get served, they will still be able to, but just have to make an extra effort themselves to go and broadcast their transaction. So there is that thing in place, and I think that there is a relevant, relevant point to take into account. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the best we can. This is, I think about this lots, to be honest with you guys. Like, it's, you know, the cost of freedom of speech is hearing things you don't agree with, and it's the same thing with the freedom of transacting money, right? Is people you don't like are gonna use it, right? It's just inevitable, and you know, the best we can do is just is prevention, right? Trying to prevent money being stolen, right? It's not, you know, our entire world has been built around reacting to problems instead of preventing them. And so for me, it's what's like really exciting about crypto. Like, we're kind of like, we're fundamentally changing the way societies can be structured and views each other, right? So instead of like censoring these transactions about reacting to the problem, what about trying to prevent it, right? So if we go back to the Bybit stuff, everyone says, well, if they're using multi-sig, wouldn't have happened, right? How you get a free wallet, you get to use for free, and prevented that from happening. Like, that's, if anyone's going to knee-jerk reaction into changing the way we do things, it should be a knee-jerk reaction into preventing these thefts from occurring in the first place, instead of knee-jerk reacting into introducing all kinds of censorship and whatnot. So yeah, but we, you know, it's, unfortunately, we're in the minority, right? We're a handful of people that understand this, but I do think we're going to win. I do think we're going to push this forward and we will succeed. Go ahead, guys.
Well, I think, to bring your point home a little bit here is when you adopt this mentality that we all share, whether you're up on stage or listening to this, you never go back, right? Our numbers are only increasing. I'm very optimistic for the future. We still have a lot of things to do, but that was perfectly stated, Kenton. The price of the freedom of speech is here in the speech you do not want to hear. And, a free and open market means sometimes that stuff happens, but the alternative is not an alternative at all. It's, right. I mean, freedom requires risk, but if you're not willing to accept life with risk, you can't have freedom. It is what it is. So that's how it is, guys. I think that was well said, Kenton. Good job. Well, we're at the 2-hour mark. Unstoppable, did you have anything else? I'm thinking maybe we wrap it up.
No, thanks for having us.
I thought this was a great conversation. Kenton, do you have anything else before I do the outro here?
No, that's great. Appreciate your time, Unstoppable. Appreciate the work you do on the front end. I think it's good. I hope everybody else likes it. Keep, guys, gals, keep putting in your, if you have any bugs or things don't look good, aren't working, please let us know. You get the email at the bottom there. Trying to get everyone to use email, right? One place to kind of collect everything. But if you're not going to listen, post on Twitter, Telegram, Discord, whatever. We try to keep track. But you can't. The email is the one thing you can hold us accountable. That when you submit the thing on email, that we do get that. And appreciate your patience, you guys. It's still a work in progress. Like I said, it's still new things being added, new things being worked on. We do see all, when you email us those bug reports, that we do see it all. Like it's just. And I'm pushing the Unstoppable guys too. Like, when is this done? Get this. Come on, you guys, right? And they, we just got to be patient with them to deliver. But all these things will be done and be fixed. It's just they need time to do it. So I thank you, Unstoppable, for your efforts and contributions to THORChain. And when we had a time where devs are leaving, running away from THORChain, we have devs like you running towards THORChain. And so. I'm grateful you guys are here and want to contribute. So thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, guys. And for the outro here, let's just talk about some numbers here, right? Because words are words, figures are figures. Right? We all love that. So according to what I'm seeing right now, swap.thorchain.org is on the tippy top. We have about 50 million that has run through, which is incredible. It's over the week, I should say. I think. Yeah, I should, but we're on top. It's irrelevance, and it's more than 7x the second place contender, which is fantastic. I mean, if there was ever proof that the front end was definitely what THORChain needed, there it is. It's in the raw numbers. People wanted THORChain to have its own interface. So great job, guys. Next Thursday, guys, we're still up in the air whether or not we're going to have Chad Barraford for a Thursday episode. It is the holiday season, guys. He's not sure. We're not sure. So don't hold it to that. Pay attention to the THORChain account. They'll surely update as well. The next Saturday is going to be the last space of the year. We're going to be doing it with Ruggiero, guys. We're going to go out with Ruggiero. We're going to go out with a big bang. I'm really excited for that. As you guys have been paying attention, a lot of things are coming. So keep an eye out for that, guys. Maybe we'll do a live stream. I don't know. I'll talk to them about it. That might be fun to do the last space. Maybe try to do a live stream, show some things. I'm not sure. I don't want to hold them to that, but I think it's fun if we try to make the last space as epic as possible. Once again, guys, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you, every patient. Thank you, Unstoppable, for your patience. Thank you to the TC intern, and thank you, Kenton, as always, for being the best co-host I could ask for. I hope the rest of you have a great rest of your weekend, and we will talk to you and see you soon. Bye, everybody.